Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today we are going to be trying out some of the cards from Rise of the Floodborn. And some of those cards have been put in Pixelborn, and there is an experimental feature right here. So in play, there's a lab here where you can play a casual deck with no restrictions on the deck, and we can play cards from future sets, which includes Rise of the Floodborn, or whatever cards have been implemented. And we might be facing some weird stuff, but we can try to play around and try out some of the new cards. Let's begin by checking what is implemented right now. Also, since this is a live video, feel free to ask any question that comes to your mind. Ideally Lorcana related, but we can try to solve all the world's problems. If they're Lorcana related. So we have access to Mickey Mouse, the Queen, Last Stand Zero to Hero. We don't have all of the bouncy shenanigans implemented yet. But we do have the Beast Relentless. Maybe let's start with that. I did put it as the thumbnail for the video, so I guess we should be making a deck around that to begin. Let's see what we can do. Well, maybe we should design this one pixel in using the app first. To the deck builder companion. Alright, so we have Beast Relentless. That's a pretty cool card. Let's build a new deck. Emerald. Oh, what do we want to play with that beast? That's the question. The Beast Relentless, whenever it's damaged, whenever an opponent's character is damaged, we may ready this character. That seems really good with steal effects like Tinkerbell and Hans for just maximum pinging. We can even make use of the little Robin Hood capable fighter. So I think this is going to be an Emerald Steel deck. Let's go for that. Emerald Steel Ping. Let's call it. How's my ping? Seems appropriate for a live stream. Alright. So at the center of the deck we have wrong beast. Five drop. There it is. Beast Relentless. 4 of. 6 drop, bit expensive, but should be well worth its weight. And now we're going to put most things that can ping. So we want to play some Tinkerbells, because Tinkerbell's amazing. We're going to be playing Hans, because Hans pings. We're going to be playing the small Where are you, little card? Robin Hood. There it is. Capable fighter. Deal 1 damage to chosen character. So now we have lots of pinging going on, so we can combo off with our beast. Then what do we have? So we have only 1 uninkable in Robin Hood. 4, 6, 6. So our 6 drops are pretty well furnished at this point. Let's see if there's anything else from Rise of the Floodborn that we can include. Specifically. Don't really want to play Belle, Hidden Archer here. Bucky's another deck. Flynn Rider, well, no. Prince John, not implemented yet. And that would be an entirely different story. Your other characters gain resist 1. Wrong ink, but that can lead to some pretty interesting things with Beast Relentless. Maybe we'll try that afterwards. Because if your Beast Relentless has a couple of resist, maybe it doesn't take any damage, and it can keep on fighting again and again. Take out a bunch of opponents' threats. They're both Cinderellas, right? 2 drop to the big 7 drop. Bodyguard. Ah, mouse armor. Yeah, that's perfect. Let's actually give resist to our beast via the mouse armor. I like that. So let's go back to our deck building. How's my ping? And let's add a full play set of mouse armors. Which puts us in the odd position now where we're playing a pair of 2 drops, both in full play sets that are all uninkable. Which means that we're committing to playing all of those. Okay. So that means we probably don't want any more in the 2 drop slot. Let's add some Captain Hooks. Actually, if we're gonna be spam pinging, maybe we want Fire to Cannon. If we go Fire to Cannon, we're going with the 4 drop hook, which means we're pretty much at our limit for uninkables. Do you want to reach our uninkable limit so quickly? That's the question. Could be fun. Let's see what happens if we do it. We can always remove cards from when we're deck building, right? There's no law against that. Is there? No. We're allowed to edit stuff. Or go over 60 cards. Although, I'll be angry at myself if I do go over 60 cards, and I'll force it down to 60. So let's go with good old Captain of the Jolly Rancher, Roger. Hey, Envi, thanks for joining the stream. Alright. So we've got lots of pinging, a little bit of mouse armor going on. I don't like all these cheap uninkables. Actually, all of our cheaper cards are uninkables right now. And we need some 3 drops. Right now we are cooking with the new Rise of Floodborn cards. And I'm trying to build a deck centered around Beast Relentless that is going to be getting as many pings on the opponent characters as we can. So to review, Robin Hood and Hans can both single target ping an opponent for 1. We can use the mouse armor to protect our beast so that beast can do multiple tackles in 1 round. Tinkerbell can mass ping and it's just super solid card. And I'm trying to see if I can fit the Fire to Cannons and the big Captain Hook for just more cheap pings really. But that puts us in a very awkward space with the cheap uninkables. So we need everything else to be inkable, pretty much. Well, since we're lacking in 3 drops, maybe we can go with the small Tinkerbell. The shifting combination is pretty strong. Where is the smaller Tinkerbell? There it is. Full play set for now. Is that smashes? Maybe 1 Plasma Blaster. Maybe 2? 2 Plasma Blasters? It's another cheap uninkable. It's gonna be the death of me. But it pings. So let's try it. Also, we do need to draw our beast and keep it on the battlefield for those wombo combos to work. I guess they wanted both beasts to go together, since we have Beast Wolfsbane that exerts all the damage characters. There's some interesting things to do there. Yeah. Let's go with a pair of Beast Wolfsbane, and I'm going to go back and Take out the fire cannons and Captain Hook. Just too many uninkables. And I want to try some of the flashy stuff. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, or 12 uninkables. Yeah, that seems better. Which means we'll go back to Captain Hook as our 1-drop. Just a solid attacker. Our 3-drops seem pretty filled. I think we have space maybe for one more 1 to 2. That's inkable. Bucky's tempting. What do we have in terms of Floodborn? Floodborn, story, dream, story, dream. Not very many Floodborn characters. Not really want Flynn. Maybe we'll try it like that to start. Alright, so next on our list, need at least another 4-drop. And on 4, Tiana's quite tempting, but we'll probably do another list with her later. Again, trying to dodge some of these non-inkable ones. Tinkerbell's nice. And Hans is pretty good. Already playing some Hans. The really evil scheming prince and the one that just says that he's trying to kill you with the evil look. I'm not sure which one looks more evil. Evil professional and evil maniac, I guess, are the 2 Hans cards. Let's go Tinkerbell. So now we want some 5-drop inkables. We're already playing 2 beasts, so why not play a 3rd one? Actually, let's play it in 2 copies. I want a bit bulkier 5-drops. It's hard to say no to Cusco, but not in this list. Let's just go all out for the beatdown. Some Cerberuses. Big bad watchdogs. Hello, Hugo Rodriguez. Thanks for joining the stream. Let me know if you have any questions as we go along and try to build our... ping our opponents to death and use the new beast to just completely destroy them. If we can draw the beast. I mean, we are in steel, so in 5, it's tempting to go whole new world, grab your sword. Grab Your Sword is a song that pings, so I guess we should probably include some copies. Let's go with 3 copies for now. How are we doing with our uninkables? 4, 8, 10, 12, 15? Kind of on the limit. Maybe we can trim down 1 mouse armor. 3's probably a little, 4's probably a little overkill. And it gives us to a nice multiple of 4. Now back to the ink curve. 6 drops well filled. 5. Maybe you can use another inkable 5-drop. Another early game play. What's nice in steel and emerald? That's inkable. And on 5. There's Jumba. There's nothing overly sturdy here. I kind of like my John Silvers. They did really good in the last Emerald video I tried. Let's try a pair of Johns. Pair of long Johns. Like some 5s. Ugh. Alright, Parajumbo Jakiba. They're gonna get inked all the time anyways. Now, is there an early drop that would fit nicely? I'm kind of eyeing Simba over here. But as I'm doing that, there's always the Cinderella. And if we're going to be playing Cinderella and we're missing just one more inkable card, might as well go for the big Cinderella. How does that look? So we have our centerpiece, Beast Relentless. Whenever an opponent's damage, we may ready it. Then we go to quest, combat quest. Then try to win the game. Have a bunch of pinging tools, Tinkerbell, Hans, making use of Robin. Also have Cinderella, which if we play a song, we can challenge ready characters this turn. Don't have many songs to play though. I mean, she's still a 5/5 resist 2. Probably gonna get inked more often than not in this deck. I think that's fine. Well, I guess I'm gonna ask the audience. Is there any swap that you'd like to see? Or any card that you'd like to see included in the deck? If not, well, let's take it into action. Actually, I'll need to rebuild it here. But that should be fairly straightforward. Include future sets. We're playing gray and green. So we had 4 Cerberuses, 2 Beasts, 2 Jumbas, 2 John Silvers, 4 Tinkerbells. I think you want to play some Mother Knows Best. Let's another non-inkable. 2 Beasts, 4 Hooks, 4 Hans, 4 Tinks, 4 other Tinks, 3 Grab Your Swords, 4 Smash, 2 Blasters, 4 Beasts, Cinderella, Robin, and 3 Mouse Armors. 56. I missed one. It's always a good test to see if you remember your deck to try and rebuild it from scratch. I think I missed Smash, maybe? No, I have Smash. Alright, 5 green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the emeralds are there. Hook, Cinderella, Armor, Robin, Blaster, Smash, Tink, Hans, Beast, Cerberus, Grab Your Sword, Tinkerbell. Oh, I'm just missing one ofs, so I'm not clicking enough. $59. I'm missing Mouse Armor? Yes. Mouse Armor. Where are you hiding? Oh, maybe I can use filters. There you are. 60. Alright. Pings for days. Now this is new cards on the amateur-based website, I think maintained by one person, so there could be some bugs. Alright, let's see how it goes. I do need to switch. Ooh, I forgot to switch. Switching the Pixelborn mode. Alright, so we're going second. We have too many Tinkerbells. Let's send a couple back. Don't really like Wolf's Bane in the opening hand. Do have a small Cinderella and a big Cinderella. Ah, there it is. Our big beast coming in. Opponent playing a Phil. And we find a second copy of the beast. What do we want on turn 3? So we want turn 2 Cinderella. Turn 3, I'm not sure, Tinkerbell or Smash. 5 is most likely going to be the bigger Tinkerbell. The bigger Cinderella. So let's ink the beast. Go with the Cinderella. Draw one. Alright, let's send out our Smash. That Robin Hood is going to be line up quite nicely with Phil. Yes, Pixelborn is a great way to play, especially since it's hard to find cards right now. And let's be honest, we can't always be playing in tournaments or with real people. Well, we can play with real people online, but you know what I mean. Sometimes it's just not as convenient. Alright, opponent exerts Phil, which means Simba now has 5 power. Huge bodyguard. If you're a Magic player trying to learn the rules of Lorcana, I have a video I posted maybe 6 months ago about a quick set of rules for Lorcana for Magic the Gathering players that I'd encourage you to check out. Although I assume mostly by watching, you must have learned most of the rules. Let's go with Robin. Alright, now we can use Robin Hood to take out Phil. Oh, and the opponent doesn't have any particularly good way to deal with our Robin. So Robin, activate your ability. Oops. Well, that's a fail. Undo. Oh well. I wanted to activate the ability. Okay. The opponent decided that because we misclicked, we needed to win the game. Or the opponent had to run somewhere else. Series of unfortunate events. We did have the beast. That's the downside of playing live. I can't cut these types of game out of the footage of the video. Oh, let's go again. Again, we have double Cinderella. Don't overly like the beast. I think we can keep the rest. Traded 5-drop for an inkable 5-drop. Seems like a fair trade. Opponent plays the Captain Hook. I don't really want that Tinkerbell. I think I'm gonna double 2 drops on 4. The Mickey Mouse. The Musketeers. Our opponent playing Musketeers? Steel and Sapphire. Alright, well here we want to ink our hook and go with one of our 2-drops. I think Cinderella's the one. Be Fool's Bane will go away. And it'll pass turn back. Just a 2/2 allows us to cycle a card. Opponent plays a Fishbone Quill. Interesting choice. Spam inking. I'm a little afraid of a whole new world coming down. We do have a beast on 5, which now looks much better than Jumba. But just the way our ink lines up, I think we need to smash that hook. The next turn we go Robin Mouse Armor. I think we're relatively safe questing with Cinderella. There's no Rafiki coming out of that opponent's deck. Although we are playing in the lab, so there's nothing stopping our opponent from playing 3 inks. It's using the quill. The opponent double inks and then casts a whole new world. That's a huge ink advantage. Ugh. Yeah, that hurts. Well, our only play is to try and counterbalance that with tempo. Let's ink Cinderella and go with Hans. And we're threatening Cinderella Stout Heart for next turn. Does the system have all the cards available? Yes, mostly. So all the cards from the first chapter are available, and you can play them all as 4-ofs right now. So there's no real restriction or economy where you need to get packs. I've seen some gold show up in the UI, but I expect that this needs to remain free, otherwise it's kind of trending on the be careful about lawsuits. Like the card image gallery is not included with the game, as this is just a tabletop simulator. Rules enforced. So I don't think that we're ever going to need to pay for cards or anything like that. And here I think we just want a beast, take out that Fishborn Quill. But the Cinderella Stout Heart is interesting. Maybe next turn. Tinkerbell is keeping us in check. Yeah, so all the cards from the first chapter are available, and some of the cards that have been spoiled so far have been implemented in the game and playable in the lab. Of course, it's not... The second the card gets revealed, doesn't get included in the game, because I think there's one, maybe more developers on this, but as far as I know, it's just one guy. So he needs to go in and implement the effects of the card, try it out. Also, there can be some bugs. And I mean, this is free tabletop simulator that allows us to enjoy the game, talk about how fun Lorcana is, playtest some of the cards before we play with the real physical cards. And so we need to accept that there's going to be a few bugs. And that's fine. Alright, so here we have a perfect case of Cinderella, I think. So shift it. And actually, I'm going to have to reread this one. I think it's just resist 2. And if we sing a song, yeah, so shift, resist 2. So all damage is reduced by 2. Oh, which means I need to go after Donald. Oh well. I mean, it's a free combat. Take out a 4-drop. Can't really complain about that. I'm gonna quest the beast, because if the opponent takes out Beast with Tinkerbell and tries to ping Cinderella, The resist is going to prevent all the damage. And then we'll just smash Cinderella. Yeah, bugs like Cinderella wasn't supposed to heal whenever I shifted her. But there's a Discord channel, and if we do some quality assurance as we playtest, we can report those bugs, and most of the impactful ones are going to get fixed. Yeah, that Cinderella Stout Heart, making minced meat out of that Tinkerbell. Then the opponent resigns. Cinderella too strong. Let's try again. I'd like to see that beast in action sometimes. It just looks so great. Actually, it looks cool. Also, I wonder which cards we're gonna get as the enchanted art in this set. It's probably a little too early to ask that question. Last set, it's been mostly super rares, I think. So I have to check what are the super rares in Rise of Floodborn. Need to scroll here. Rise of Floodborn. Maybe a queen. Alright, back to the game, Yoshi. Pair of mouse armors is probably too much. One is good. The rest of our curve is decent. Not enough pinging for my taste. But we can't have the perfect hand every time. And we can't start the game every time. Because then we'd be playing at the same time. I was going to say, imagine that, a game where all the players can play their turn at the same time. But there's actually a ton of games like that, like Dominion, Seven Wonders. Very fun board games, by the way. Dominion has a bit of that trading card game feel, but maybe a bit more casual, yet with still enough depth and a ton of expansions. Really like Dominion deck building game. Although there's just something about the collecting and playing duality of the trading card games that once you've tried it, it's just so fun. It becomes a way of life. Question for the chat. What was the first ever trading card game that you've played? Or collectible card game? Oh, yes, lab mode. Opponent didn't want to play that one. For me, I think the first trading card game I've played must have been Pokemon. But I didn't play it competitively. I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively first. Magic. Magic's a great one. I still play quite a lot of Magic Arena. I like the endless possibilities that we can do. Just very fun, complex combos. And it looks like Lorcana is heading in that direction. They've been putting a lot of text on these cards. And somewhat complex abilities. A little worried about balance of cards like Prince John. I'm not sure if everyone has seen the spoilers for that one, but whenever an opponent discards one or more card, you draw a card for each card discarded. That has me worried. Particular hand control is not overly fun to play against. It's typically one of these side strategies, kind of like mill. You want it to exist just so people can have fun playing with these side annoying strategies and say, yes, I've won with my weird strategy. But if mill becomes the mainstream, well, actually mill's interesting because you can always hedge against it by playing more cards, and then you'd end up with a very weird meta where people are playing a ton of cards. But for something like hand control, it's going to end up being the player who plays first is going to control the opponent's hand. And there was a metagame in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you basically just destroyed your opponent's hand and then prevented them from drawing. And that's not fun. You want some back and forth in the game. And you want your opponent to have the ability to play stuff. Now, well, Prince John A Whole New World allows you to draw 14 cards. But if you're drawing 7, do you really need the extra 7? At that point, it might become a bit of a liability. Yes, you're drawing a ton of cards, but with 14 cards in hand, if the opponent plays a subsequent Whole New World, you can end up milling yourself pretty fast. To me, it's more Prince John with, say you go Bucky on 2, Prince John on 3. Turn 4, you play a Floodborn, opponent discards a card, and then you activate the song that makes the opponent discard. Let me find it. Sudden Chill. So you can sing a Sudden Chill. Then suddenly you've played the character every turn, and you've had your opponent discard 2 cards, and you've drawn 2 cards. Or you go 2-drop Prince John, followed by turn 4, you sing 1 or 2 Sudden Chills, and a Have You Forgotten Me? And suddenly you make your opponent discard 4 cards and you draw 4 cards. So you end up with 1 more card in hand than what you ended up last turn with. I don't need smashes, the opponent character are too weak. So you end up with +1 and you've decimated your opponent's hand. Then the opponent can't play anything because they're on their turn 4 and they're drawing a card and they're like, do I ink this because I'm on 3 ink right now and I can't play anything? And if I ink this, then all the tempo's opened. It's not so much that we're putting the opponent in top deck mode, that the opponent is in resources starved mode and top deck mode, and these cards are going to have to go to the ink while you completely develop your board and win the game. Alright, let's just take a second here to take a look at this board. I think we want to go Tinkerbell. Just a big shift on top of the small Tinkerbell. We're giving the opponent the ink with Grammatala. Then we'll give some armor. Make sure we take no damage taking out that Mickey. Then you get a free pink. Alright. So, back to the Prince John. Hand destruction is not fun. It's okay as a surprise, and it's okay when it's later in the game and you're sacrificing a lot of tempo. But just when your opponent has no resources, you can't really play the game. Thankfully, they're all random cards, and that means that if there's enough draw power in the game, which Lorcana hasn't been shy about, with A Whole New World and Rapunzel, I'm expecting or hoping that they're going to print a bunch of other cards that allow you to draw significant amounts. Maybe not Pokemon like Professor Oak, where you're drawing through your deck in 5 turns every game, but something that allows you to keep the flow of cards so that you can ink a card every turn, play a card every turn, and still have decisions to make. And these discards effects aren't decimating you. What do we want to do here? Oh yes, that's beautiful. Typically don't like Beast's Wolfsbane, but we have a nice use case here. Aurora, you're now exerted, and I guess the Beast is going to take you out. That mouse armor has been doing some work. Also protecting our Tinkerbell from that fire to cannon. It only took 1 damage. Ah, now it's taking 2. Maybe I should have protected Tinkerbell. Oh, and the off-tempo Whole New World. Sometimes you just have to play it. But overall, if you're just hard casting it as your turn, you're in a bad spot. Scepter of Arendelle. Okay, it's an items type deck. Perhaps even items combo. The opponent's on 8 ink. Ooh, and we get a Relentless Beast. We're definitely playing that this turn. And might as well quest with everything else. And let's protect Tinkerbell. Could try to protect the Beast Relentless, but I'm more worried about a Hades or a Let It Go taking it out. Pings from damage are likely to go after Tinkerbell. Yes, Prince John with a Whole New World does draw a ton of cards. And it is a you may. So, you don't have to. In case you're getting close to be milled. Whenever opponent discards 1 or more, you may draw a card for each. Yeah, I don't think you can draw partially. I think it's you draw an extra 7 or you don't draw an extra 7. But still. On 14 cards, if you're playing stuff like Bell, Strange But Special, or the Fishborn Quill, you can add a bunch of cards into the ink pool and suddenly just have a ton of ink, have a ton of cards, and easily win the game. Alright, so the opponent has a Prince that never gives up with a mouse armor on. So Tinkerbell can't ping it. Our Smash can deal 1 damage. So maybe we'll go for that. That's a quest. Is it worth smashing? Just for the extra 2 lore? Nah, let's do it. Let's do it for fun. Ping you for 1. Unexert. Exert. Okay. I've had my fill of fun. Now what? What can our opponent do? Opponent can play Grab Your Sword. It's probably the most hurtful thing our opponent can do. So let's ink Tinkerbell. Still play Robin. And protection from Grab Your Sword. Just 1 mouse armor, 2 Tinkerbell, 1 to Beast. Opponent does Grab Your Sword, taking out nothing. I'm starting to really like these mouse armors. Even when you're not challenging, just the ability to protect the character from any surprises, damage spells against steel is Really nice. As the opponent's disappointed they couldn't take out our characters and resign. Grab your sword just isn't enough anymore. Because the answer to overpowered steel is steel. Crickets, crickets. I know. Okay, steel might not be that overpowered, but I think it's my favorite ink. Has a lot of cool, powerful effects. There you go, keep one. Good morning, Syndratic. Morning or evening to whoever have joined the chat recently. Depends in which time zones you're located. All right. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3 probably. So let's start by inking our Cerberus. So far, Mouse Armor has been quite impressive. Cinderella Stout-Hearted has done some work. Have a nice day as well, Luke. Is this resistance deck? Well, the goal of the deck was to try and build a Beast Relentless deck. So we are doing a bit of resist. We are... Oh, I forgot to play... I forgot to play my Captain Hook last turn. We're playing a bit of resist, but we're trying to ping our opponent and overping them with cards like Hans, Tinkerbell, Grab Your Sword, and we're also trying to add some resist on Beast Relentless so that he can just do a combat, not take damage, deal damage to the opponent, unexert, get your second wind. And we just landed on playing the Cinderellas, because this is all about experimentation with Rise of Floodborn. And whatever cards are available right now. I'm sure deck lists will change quite a bit, and I'll make a proper Beast Relentless deck once we have the full list. Fire the cannon for 1. Again, Mouse Armor just doing great work. Now if the Prince quests, we're going to go Tinkerbell. If the Prince doesn't quest, might have to go Tinkerbell anyways. And yeah, we're going to ink our hook. I think we still shift. Pinging the opponent for 0. Then we can quest. Might as well. Thanks a lot for the advertisement, Syndratic. I'm glad that you're enjoying the videos and that people at your local like them as well. Ooh, nice. The opponent's also playing some cards from Rise of Floodborn, Cogswort, giving double resist to the Bodyguard Prince. That's going to be a tough cookie to take down. With resist 2. That smash is looking pretty bad right now. So let's ink that. Go to Beast. Well, I might as well quest. Questing while we can. What is your favorite card revealed for Rise of Floodborn so far? General question for the chat. Maybe I can show them a bit. I think for me it's probably that Relentless Beast that I like the most. Oh, the new Arthur card. Arthur's quite an interesting one. Whenever this character quests, you may balance the characters to your hand to gain 2 lore. So you can effectively quest for 3. Which is pretty good, and it's a bounce effect. I don't like his stats and the fact that he's uninkable, but if you can keep it on the battlefield for a few turns, he will certainly win you the game. The opponent now has double Cogsworth on the battlefield, which means that the prince has resist 3. You know what? I'm not even going to bother attacking that. I'm just going to quest. Are you... so Syndratic, if you like that Archer card, are you planning on playing some kind of Merlin, Lady Min type of deck? We've been seeing quite a lot of Lady Min's cards get spoiled lately, and they're all Playtest bounce something. And it seems like a very fun deck to play. And I think Archer would fit in there quite well. And as is thematic, he's going to be fitting with the Merlins. Getting all sorts of Merlins. Shapeshifter, Rabbit, Goat, Crab. Amethyst Steel. Yes, I definitely think it's going to be fun. I'll get back to the comment in 1 second, as the opponent has played a 3rd Cogsworth, and now attacking for 4 does nothing. Which is quite interesting. I think at that point, and the opponent has a big bodyguard. Do I want to just Cinderella can ping for 1. I think I'm just going to prevent some questing. John Silver will force you to challenge. Gonna protect our beast and just quest with everything. Alright, so back to the bounce deck. And I think they've really set up the archetype with the Madame Nin and the Merlins. It's going to be a question of how much do we commit to this, because if you're bouncing stuff all the time, then you're kind of losing a bit of board presence. And you don't want to lose too much board presence, because then the opponent's just going to overwhelm you. Now there is the effect of just being able to heal your characters. Go to combat, then you bounce it back, and next turn when you play them, they're fully healed, which is quite nice. And also Merlin Shapeshifter is going to be pretty decent in that deck. In particular, we have the Min that bounces. Where's the 2-drop? This one. So the Madame Min, you can Madame Min and Madame Min, and just keep on the snakes, bouncing them back in the hand for 2 inks each. And if you're at 10 ink, then you can do that 5 times, which means that suddenly that Merlin can quest for 6. It's a bit of a very specific example, but we can get that Shapeshifter to quest for quite a lot. Stats are still a bit on the weaker side for 4-drop. Yeah, Pocket Watch is quite interesting with that. Since you are going to be facing a bit more summoning sickness than other decks. That makes sense to me. I do particularly like this one, the Merlin Goat. Whenever you play, or whenever he leaves play, you gain 1 lore. Because you don't need... You can just use him to combat. And you still gain 2 lore in the exchange. And 4-3 for 4 is fairly decent stats. That's an interesting effect that showed up in our game. The opponent had some damage dealt to Cogsworth, which allowed us to unexert our beast during our opponent's turn. Opponent's playing another Cogsworth. I get the feeling that the opponent is playing more than 4 copies of the big clock. Yeah, we are playing in experimental mode, where you're allowed to play any number of copies of anything. I think we just lose here. Oh, wait, no, we quest for 6 and win. Sorry, I can't count, apparently. Like, our opponent can quest for victory on their turn, but we quest first. So the Mass Cockwords was quite cool to see. There was absolutely nothing I could do to get past that wall. I mean, they have a bodyguard with resist 5, and all my removals damage based. And I can't even use Beast's ability because I can't deal damage, which is a shame, but pretty cool nonetheless. Yeah, looking at different Merlins, I really like this one. The other one, well, giving Challenger, not best. But then again, you can get a character pretty big pretty fast if you're starting to spam him. I mean, if you play Merlin Crab, then you bounce the Merlin Crab, then you play it again, suddenly you can give a character +9, which I guess isn't overly useful, but it's cool. It's cool that you can do it. Not my favorite card. Send, grab your swords back, and now we'll ink the Cinderella. Now you find a Relentless Beast. Yes, I saw the big dragon, Madam Min. 7-drop, but you need to bounce 2 characters when you play her. I think she's 7-5, quest for 4 evasive. Similar to Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. At least she's inkable. That's a good thing going on for her. But if you're playing a bounce deck, I think you want most of your cards to be fairly cheap. Because if you're paying too much, then you are going to end up losing to board presence quite a bit. Or at least you need your bounce targets to be very cheap. Yeah, even that Merlin's actually pretty good. When you enter and leaves, you draw a card. There's no need really for a better draw engine. Yeah, so playing the big Dragon Min as a beater, bounce and heal and bring back. Yeah, it's just that you must have 2 characters to bounce back to play the big Dragon Min, and she's 7-5. If you want to beat her, I think we can find something cheaper. Let's play our turn here and then go and take a look. On 3, let's ink our Tinkerbell. Smash Cogsworth. So if we're playing Amethyst, something with a lot of willpower. Oh, play her with beaters. Yeah, and then you bounce your beaters and you still have a big beater in play. Yeah, that could work. I do slightly prefer having the smaller bouncers, simply because I find it quite restrictive to must have two. Then again, if you get stuck with her, maybe you just ink her, and then there's no problem. So you play your beaters, beat down on the opponent, then you play her, and then you have your big evasive, huge threat quests for a lot. Your beaters are all refreshed. Then next turn you play your beaters, use the pocket watch. Yeah, that's the problem. Or even if you have two characters on the board, but you really want to keep one, you're gonna have to ink her. I know our opponent took out our mouse armor. That is disappointing. Well, now we have the most helpful fairy questing on our side. Yeah, one thing to remember is that we're going to be doubling the size of the card pool. So we're going to have to adjust a little bit what we think is a good card. There's obvious super strong cards like Tinkerbell, Whole New World, Rapunzel. We're going to remain super strong cards. But outside of that, we're going to have to reevaluate everything. Alright, here I think I need to... Oh, wait, no, that's not a trade. Opponent has a big Cogsworth. Alright, let's just quest it, Tinkerbell, and fast turn back. Another grab your sword. That one hurts. Grandfather clock. Well, grandfather clock and the mouse armor are having a pretty good impact. Your green card counters all the 1/3 steal abilities when you draw and discard one. Which card is that? Not sure what I want to play here. I think I'm gonna go Cerberus for the pressure, but I can't quest effectively. Opponent now has double mouse armor. Oof, that's a problem. And Cogsworth has that hexproof thing. Ward. Bit problematic. So this thing, oh, you can't really see the resist now. I'm gonna have to pay more attention. Oh yes, Prince John. Oh, no worries. Yeah, so Prince John's, I feel, is going to be slightly broken. I've talked about it a bit earlier in the stream. There's just a couple of lines where you go Prince John's and then Have You Forgotten Me, or you go with Bucky, Prince John, then you play a Floodborn character and you sing the song to force the opponent to discard a card, where if you're getting card advantage at the same time, it's a lot of advantage. Alright, here we just play everything. Also, it's not fun when you don't have any cards to play. So I think that might be a bit problematic. The best answer to it is if there's a lot of card draw that's not based off of discarding your opponent's hand. Because now we have Rapunzel, Whole New World, Prince John. There's a lot of cards that allow you to draw a lot of cards. And I guess there's that Merlin Rabbit that can also allow you to draw a bunch of cards, especially if you start bouncing it. What's the stats on that thing? 2-3. It's a little weak and non-inkable. Alright, opponent fell in the trap. Attacking Beast Relentless unexerts it because Hook has taken some damage. If only we could take out that grandfather clock. That would be great. Alright, well, Tinkerbell is going to quest. Beast Relentless is going to quest. Cerberus is going to go and take out that Hook, dealing 1 damage, readying our Beast Relentless, which I guess you're just going to quest again. Unfortunately, we can't really make use of the ping ability on Hook because of the grandfather clock, just giving everything resist. We might as well quest. Play another Tink, then pass the turn back. Opponent finally takes out our Beast. What deck do I play in real life? I haven't played much outside of Pixelborn. I have opened a fair bit of booster packs, and I've been playing a bit with my family, but so far I've been playing tutorial style decks. Ouch, that grab your sword hurts. We've just been wiped out. But the opponent had to sing quite a bit to make that happen. So now I think we try to recover from that. Well, pinging for one's not going to help. Yeah, so right now my decks are quite incomplete. Yeah, I think my best deck would be in Steel Sapphire. That's probably what I'd play. But I'm missing the Grab Your Swords. I have 3 Tinkerbells, which is pretty good. I have the full playset of Let It Goes. I have one of the big Hades, which I'm happy with. Well, that's probably what I'd go for, but without the Grab Your Swords, and I only have one Whole New World, it wouldn't have quite as big an impact as the full lists. Guess I've gotten used to playing whatever I want on Pixelborn. No restrictions. And then I go back to paper and I'm like, oh no, I have to make all these concessions. It would probably be fine. Locals are all Amber Steel songs, Ruby Amethyst. Yeah, well, Amber Steel songs to me is the strongest and most fun deck to play. Although it has an awkward mirror, which can go to mill, which I guess is just another dimension you have to be careful about. But online that seems to be the trend. Amber Steel or Ruby Amethyst seem to be the mostly uncontested tier 1s. The question is, can you get all the cards? Because if you're missing a few of the core pieces, especially for Steel Amber songs, if you're missing the Rapunzel, if you're missing Grab Your Swords or Whole New World, then suddenly the deck is nowhere near as strong. Ruby Amethyst is a bit more resilient. You don't need to have all the cards to make it work. The strategy is still pretty sound. I think in this game we just try to quest for victory. And we'll make use of the Cinderellas since they're tougher. Next turn I want to go for 9. Sink or tink. Pass turn back. Yeah, Steel, well, most color combinations do fairly well. Apart from a highly tuned Amber Steel or a highly tuned Ruby Amethyst, most decks do have a strong chance. And I think even the Pixelborn stats are saying that people are trying different things. There's other decks that are making it into the top 8. So, I mean, it's fairly well balanced. I'm gonna get flamed in the comments for this fairly well balanced statement. Well, it's balanced much better than the amount of product that they've put on the market. Oh yes, the big Elsas. Well, the big Elsa is certainly playable at 2 or 3 copies. I'm not sure it needs to be a 4-of. Actually, I don't think you want it as a 4-of, because it's a high-costed uninkable. Then again, it's strong. And with Amethyst and Steel. Yeah, do you have the big songs? Lose to the Elsa Ursula combo late game. Alright, the opponent couldn't deal with our stuff and resigned. Yeah, Elsa Ursula. Actually, I don't particularly like Ursula that much. Yes, that was a fairly fun game. Where is Ursula? Again, she's uninkable 2/8. That's a lot of willpower. So she's hard to deal with Steel. And making the opponent lose 1 lore. That's alright. Drawing a card. Feels like Ursula has been made for multiplayer. Like a 4-player game where like, I play Ursula, you all lose 1 lore, and I draw 3 cards. And yeah, that's pretty powerful, but she's only a 2-powered character, so I think you can mostly ignore Ursula. Although she will quest for 3 every turn, which is threatening. Elsa just has this huge tempo swing. And that's the biggest thing. She freezes everything, she has solid stats, and she quests for a ton. I'm a lot more worried about Elsa than Ursula. What kind of threats do you have in... So you mentioned Steel Amethyst. Can go gone too. Oh, just kidding. Well, yeah, Tinkerbell, Elsa are probably the biggest threats. Big Simba. Not a big fan of Big Simba, but if he does well and against your local metagame, I can see use for it. I mean, when we're missing cards, we're trying to fill some holes in the decks. And if the biggest hole in our deck is I need something for late game, well, Simba's fine. He's not perfect, but he's certainly fine. This will be quite an upgrade once she comes out. So I think, yeah, I think we can go for another game. Yeah, so far I'm quite impressed with Cinderella Stoutheart. She's been doing some real work. And the mouse armor. The Beast has been doing well, as expected. Hasn't blown my mind, and I guess one of the reasons is everybody is playing Cogsworths. Like tons of Cogsworths. Which makes sense because there's 42 cards revealed, and anyone who's playing this particular format on Pixelborn is there to try some new cards. Actually, maybe I should ask, should we try something else? Do we want a different deck? What should we play against Cogsworth? Well, Cogsworth's a fine card. I don't think it's broken. If the opponent can get multiple Cogsworths on the board, can really clog things up. But, I mean... board wipes. So the Ruby Amethyst with a good old Be Prepared is going to deal with Cogsworth quite effectively. You can also just try to ignore it and just do your own game plan. I think decimating your opponent's hand and having Prince John on the battlefield is just going to be stronger than trying to play the Cogsworth. No, you don't have to kill them before they stack them. Well, kill the opponent? Maybe. You can also challenge the Cogsworth once they start exerting. It only gives your other characters resist 1. So 2 Cogsworth is only going to give each Cogsworth resist 1. And if you get 3, they get resist 2, but that's still manageable. I mean, 3 Cogsworths that are exerted, you can beat down through those. Well, what happened in the games is our opponent were getting a bunch of Cogsworths, a bunch of mouse armors, and they're like, haha, I have this invincible fortress. In the meantime, we've just been playing a normal game of putting stuff on the field. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't want to turn your Cogsworths sideways because they're going to be vulnerable, I'm going to quest. And I'm going to just win. I like this hand. I'll send the Grab Your Sword back. Just to make sure we have enough inkables. Then we'll see what our opponent does. But yeah, Cogsworth's Prince was quite cool to play against. And I kind of like that there's these kinds of synergistic combo-y type situations, which brings us closer to the complexity of Magic the Gathering. Now, right now, what's preventing us from going to the next steps in terms of complexity is that we really can't interact during our opponent's turn. I do expect that in a few sets we will be able to interact, and they're going to add some rules and add some cards that do that. I mean, we have the ink mechanic, which lends itself very nicely to limiting what we can play during the opponent's turn, so that we can keep it fair. I'll say I want that Robin Hood to do something. So far, it's just been completely walled. Okay, we're playing against an Ember Steel Songs. you think Robin Hood, Cinderella are a good replacement for Eric Aladdin? Eric is... well, I don't really like the 2-drop Aladdin. There are some use cases for it, but the 1 willpower makes him very weak to Tinkerbell, Hans, anything that pings. And like a Grammatala. There's just a lot of weaknesses for it. Actually, against this deck, I want to play as Cerberus. If I can. Ew, I don't have anything on turn 3. Well, I can get blown to smithereens right here. Robin Hood is alright. The ability to ping for 1 is nice. Yeah. Whole New World hurts like a truck here. Especially since the opponent still has the full ink to play stuff. But pinging for 1's not that great. He's a fine 2-drop. I'd prefer if he was inkable. I don't think he deserved to be hit with the "you're not inkable" hammer. It's not my favorite 2-drop. But he's new, so we're gonna play it. Alright. So we're gonna ink smash. And we're gonna... let's go Hans. Let's go with the double pingers. And you're definitely taking out Ariel. Alright. Double pingers for double success. Now the Cinderella. Cinderella is interesting because the stout heart is very strong. She is similar to the big Aladdin, actually. And that you can play her on turn 5 as a big shift beater that's there to punish the opponent. And playing her as 7 is a little costly, but still fine. Kind of like the big Aladdin. But when you shift her on 5, it's worth sacrificing that cheaper card to get her into play. And the 2-drop Cinderella has that little Simba effect where you get to draw a card, discard a card, improve your hand a little bit. Opponent keeps on singing Whole New Worlds. Alright. At least we're not too far behind on ink. What do we want to play here? We're close to Tinkerbell. We probably want to Tinkerbell next turn. And we can go for 5 this turn. We could double ping the Stitch or double ping the Hook. Or smash the Simba, take out Ariel, so our opponent will stop singing stuff and then they'll just shift the big Tink. Which is very likely at this point. So do we want to go 2-2-1? Yeah, let's go that line. Let's go 2-2-1 instead. Let's just develop our board. And make use of the mouse armor. So mouse armor Hans. And then we... it's an ability. Oh well. I wanted to ping something. Second time I've done that today. Because Hans is whenever you quest you ping. I'm taking too long. Alright, quest ping. Let's ping... Tinkerbell. How many mouse armors? I'm not sure. Right now I'm playing 3. And it's been playing fairly smooth. It's a card that's fine to have multiples in play. Giving resist 2 or spreading the resist 1 based on the board has been quite good. But you don't want too many cards to be invested in that. 0 to hero. Okay, so the opponent has access to 9 ink. Uses the full 6 for Mickey Mouse. Another and shifts for Stitch Rockstar. Ouch. Yes, Magic Mirror and Cauldron with Amethyst. You do want to be careful about uninkables. Mouse armors, well, you don't need to play mouse armors in every deck. Mouse armors are good if you're expecting to get a lot of combat with mid-rangey characters. Because you want the resist 1 to matter, and it's going to matter if combats are between 1 to 3 damage, I'd say. If the combats are with more damage, well, what's the difference between 6 and 5, really? Here we are in quite a bit of trouble. Although our Tinkerbell next turn is going to cause havoc for our opponent. Alright, we're on 6. I think Smash has to go away. I'm going to regret that. Alright, well, big Tinkerbell, you're coming in. Best play, dealing 6 damage, taking out Hook. Then we can take out Stitch. I should learn. Learn, Yoshi, learn. Alright. At least I can play the mouse armor right. And Hook takes out a Simba. Mistakes happen. 3rd time's the charm. I'm not gonna make that mistake again, right? Right? So gonna make that mistake again. Oh yes. The queen has decent combat stats, but I really like drawing with her if I can. Questing for 1 just doesn't cut it for a 5-drop. Actually, speaking of the queen, let's talk about the Floodborn queen a little bit. Commanding presence. 4/3 shift 2. Whenever she quests, we can give something +4 and something our opponent control -4. I really like that card. I think the surprise effect of being able to completely turn a combat and give like a Grammatella enough power to fight, well, almost anything. Like Grammatella could take out that Stitch right now and live to tell the tale. Yeah, we don't know what the small queen is going to be. Let me think about this word state for a second. We can go Blaster Robin and ping with the Blaster, which I think we do want to do, because that allows us to take out Mickey. I need to take out Stitch though. Stitch is a top priority. Actually, I don't care about that Mickey Mouse that much. Quest for a ton, but I can take it out another day. So I can take out Stitch, ping out Ariel, or actually ping out Hades. Tinkerbell is going to have the mouse armor. Or I can hit Ariel, ping that, use the blaster to take out Stitch, just minimize damage. Nah. Let's take out Stitch with the mouse armor, ping the Hades. Actually, we have enough ink. Let's just go Big Bad Cinderella. Yeah, you're right. I think Cinderella's better here. I was hoping to deal a ton of damage with Tinkerbell and finish something off with a blaster, I was initially thinking blastering the Mickey, so then Tinkerbell can take it out, take no damage, ping something for 2. But the opponent doesn't have good ways to deal with Tinkerbell right now, because she has her body armor. I'm not sure how that fits on Giant Fairy, but different question. 0 to hero. So this is really an Amber Steel songs with 0 to hero, Mickey, Cinderella. Nice stuff. Mouse armor. So the opponent's really trying to improve on the Amber Steel songs. I think the opponent just has too much. Quest for 15 next turn. Yeesh. I don't think I'll come back from that. Finding another Cinderella. Can we prevent our opponent from questing for 15? So we need to stop 7. Can take out 2. Ooh. Maybe we can take out 3 here. 4 with the ping. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. Can take out both Mickeys. That's 6. Let's just take out the Mickeys. Coming out with the blaster. Pew pew. 1 damage to... Oops, that Mickey had some mouse armor. Mickey Mouse with the armor. Oh well. That's a pretty big misplay on my part. We are going to take it out through the armor. As I'm not calculating at all. Not that it would matter, but... Let's pass a turn and give our opponent the satisfaction of questing for game. Should have been paying more attention to the Pixelborn. Although I don't think I could have taken out enough anyways. Yeah, Robin Hood hasn't done anything in all the games we've played today. Or very little. I'm disappointed. I expected more out of you, Robin. Yes, Amber Steel is definitely still going to be very strong. Actually, let me take a look. Do I still have an Amber Steel list here somewhere? Maybe we can end on that. Let's see for fun. If I were to build an Amber Steel list, what we have right now. So the core of Amber Steel remains the same. Rapunzel still super broken. Ariel still at the core. We want the Songs of Doom. So whole new world, grab your sword. Although maybe grab your sword is going to start getting reevaluated with all of the resists going on. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that Mickey Mouse. He's fine. I still favor Stitch Rockstar. So I'd go with Stitch Rockstar, because it's another big source of card draw. I really like the hook. I personally like going Lilo into Simba for some early game extra pressure. Although I guess that could be open to some changes. So we have 1, 2, 3 early game threats. Probably want the Be Our Guests to have enough songs for Ariel. Just as Inkable. Oh, we need a Stitch. Definitely need a Stitch. And normally I'd play the Tinkerbells. So let's build it kind of as I would build it right now, and then we can reevaluate. Normally I'd play Smash, although I get the feeling Smash might get cut. Yeah, I need some more 5 drops. Let's look something like that. So we'd have our early game, Ariel, small Tink, big Tink, Rapunzel, the big songs with 5 drops. Yeah, well, Stitch Rockstar, if you forget about his ability and just look at the stats, 3-5 quests for 3-for-6 is actually pretty solid. Without the super overpowered ability that allows you to draw endless cards. So I really like it. In particular, just compare it with Tinkerbell. 4-5 quest for 2. This one, 3-5 quest for 3. So you're losing 1 combat power for the extra lore, which is pretty good, especially since he shifts faster. No, actually, they shift the same. Sorry about that. But the ability to draw is really good. I think having the 4 or 5 2-drops is kind of 1 to 2 drops is where we want to be for playing Stitch. I'm not sure we need the Tinkerbells. At least not the small ones. The big ones are very strong. Maybe I'll add a couple for now, just so we don't forget about it. I'm not sure we need to Smash. I kind of like some beasts, but I'm gonna tone it down. So let's start with that core. And I like Cinderella here, because she's another 1 to 2 drop, so she goes well with Stitch. She allows us to find the cards we need. She allows us to discard the uninkable songs if we get like 2 whole new worlds early on. Yes, Rockstar, well, Rockstar doesn't have to be super aggro. You can use it to swing the game into a very wide board state without losing card advantage. So you can put a bit of pressure early on without overcommitting and going, oh, I'm all in with the board. If you have a Be Prepared, I lose. You just go like Lilo, Simba, Ariel, and then you have that strong line, then ink something, whole new world, fresh hand. Opponent goes in and wipes your stuff. Alright, then you go with your mid-range cards. You go with the Tinkerbell. The opponent has removal for it. Then you go Stitch, bunch of small creatures. Your go. Then the opponent is forced to have kind of another board wipe, and then you can again go big with a Tinkerbell or with a Cinderella in this case. So maybe I'd go with some Cinderellas here. I'm not sure we need 4. That might be a little too top heavy, but it'd be worth a shot. Now we have 1 drops, 2 drops. I said we really like the mouse armor. Maybe 2. Maybe 3. 2, 3. We have 3 drops. Could use another 4 drop here, but it's not necessary. We can also go for double 2s. And maybe that's our game plan. Maybe our game plan is to go for double 2 drop, so it goes better with the Stitches. And enables mouse armor a bit better. Although we probably want some 5. I think another pair of 5 drops. Something else to sing our big songs. Did we get anything good and new? Oh, a pair of queens. About as good in our Lorcana deck as it is in poker. It's not the best. That's pretty good. Oh, 0 to hero? So we probably should be playing a couple of 0 to heroes in this deck. Yeah, we could include a few. And maybe that's how we justify playing the Cinderella. We can cut out the queens and go for another way to get a fast stitch. And maybe we go for that. Fun. 0 to hero. Something like that. That seems... Oh, actually, you can't see the full deck. Let's do it this way. Yeah, they kind of go well hand in hand. They both want you to go wide and have some big threats. Kind of have this heavy layer of 1 to 2 drops and then decent layer of top end characters. And you can leave the middle pretty thin, which we have here. I mean, we have Ariel, which helps us find the songs and is basically card neutral. Tinkerbell, which helps us get the other Tinkerbell. And in a pinch, we can do the draw discard, which doesn't come up very often. And Rapunzel, well, she's Rapunzel. You have her, you play her. Basically. And on that note, I think I'm going to move to end the stream for today. I hope that you've all had a great time and that you've enjoyed this live stream featuring some new cards from Rise of Floodborn. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. When I looked this morning, I was still at 899, hoping to make it to 1,000 by the end of the day. But yes, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you've had a great time. I hope you're as excited as I am for more spoilers for Rise of Floodborn and the release. And I'll keep on making some good decks and listening to your comments, telling me what you'd like to see, improvements that you'd like. And thanks again for watching. I had a great time chatting with you in the chat today. And I'll see you next time.